All right, so In the Heights is directed by John M. Chu, and it's about a group of people who live in this town called Washington Heights. They aren't, they don't get as far along as other people in the world, obviously for obvious reasons. And basically, they try to fulfill their dreams. They reflect on their lives and what their future holds. And it's a musical, and that's all you really need to know. So this is based off the Broadway musical that was created by Lin-Manuel Miranda, obviously the creator of Hamilton, and he created this before he created Hamilton. And so he decided to bring this musical back to the big screen. And as far as the movie goes, I was not really looking forward to this. I had no idea what this movie was or like what this musical was about. So, and then the trailers came out, and I thought the trailers looked like it looked like it was going to be a fun movie that was definitely going to tackle a lot of serious issues, but it was still going to, be fun, be exciting, be like a very extravagant musical. And honestly, I actually had a pretty good time watching this movie. So overall, like, I think the performances are really good. Like, there are some standouts. First off, Anthony Ramos, he's the main character, Usnavi, in this movie. I thought he was really good. He's very charismatic. He's very likable. Pretty much, there's no bad performance in this movie by any means. There are just characters who are definitely better than others. Anthony Ramos, he's really good in this movie. Leslie Grace, who plays this woman who left Washington Heights. She went to college. She was the first in her family, and she was really good in this performance, talking about the stuff that she had to go through, and that's very heartbreaking. And I do think like she's really good, and like how how she talks about like how Washington Heights, like she needed to escape and like all that, and how she just wants nothing more than just to be back in Washington Heights. It's like her performance is really good in this movie as well. Melissa Barrera, I'm probably mispronouncing some of these names. I thought she was also really good. She tries to move on from Washington Heights, and how she tries to move on with her future as well. Corey Hawkins, he's good. I remember seeing him in Straight Outta Compton, and he's good here. He's definitely more of an arrogant friend to Anthony Ramos' character. Thought he was really good. Also, Olga Muradiaz. Again, I'm mispronouncing these names because I'm an ignorant American. So I thought her performance, she's like this parental figure to all these kids not necessarily kids, but like young adults in this area. And she's really good, especially towards the end of her role, which was very heartbreaking, which may be a spoiler, but oh well. Also, like, again, there's no bad performance in this movie. There's, like, no weak, like, even, like, some of the things I'm going to talk about in the negatives with this movie, they're not necessarily bad, but they may not be, like, fully fulfilled. Like, there's this, like, minor subplot involving these women who run this beauty salon, including Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Dasha Polanco from Orange is the New Black. Like, they have a subplot that isn't necessary, but it does fit the whole, the idea of the theme of dreams in this movie. So it does work, even if it doesn't really feel like it meshes all together. As far as the musical numbers go, they are incredible. Like, wow. Like, each one is very unique, and so it's like, it never feels like they're just copying each other at any point. So it's like, you can definitely tell, like, which scene it is. Like, if you look back, it's like, oh, that was this scene. Oh, that was this scene. And, like, every one is incredible. Like, there's one in a pool. There's one where they're dancing on a building. It's really incredible to see. Also, this movie, it definitely made me feel, like, every emotion possible. There were times where I was laughing. There were times where I wanted to tear up. There was times where I was mad. It was definitely a movie that, I really like those movies where, like, it can make me feel everything. So, in fact, this movie does that, surprisingly. That is actually really good. Also, like, I do like, how it tackles, the idea of dreams throughout this entire movie, where it's like, sometimes we don't succeed, sometimes we rethink our dreams, sometimes we just have to risk everything, and sometimes we realize our dreams were here all along, and it's just, I think, that really worked for the rest of the movie. It's like, it doesn't really judge you on your dream, or how you succeeded at that dream. What happens is, like, you tried, and you do try. That's the most important thing of all. And I do think that even though, like, while the movie is overall serious at times, it doesn't forget the fun. Like, this could have been a movie that was, like, very serious, given all the subject matters that they were talking about. This movie could have been extremely serious, but they never forget the fun with this movie. I thought it was very, very well done overall. if I had any nitpicks about the movie, I honestly do. First off, musical numbers, as enjoyable as unique as they are, sometimes they can be a little long. Like sometimes I was like thinking while listening to it, it's like, okay, so this song should be wrapping up, and then it just continues on and on and on, and I'm like, okay, we get it. Move on. Next plot line or whatever. Speaking of plot lines, there's this whole subplot involving Lin-Manuel Miranda. He has this water cart, and his whole subplot is just unnecessary to the entire movie. Yeah, I know he created the musical. I know he was a big voice in getting this story out there. And Christopher Jackson, who was also in Hamilton, he's also in this subplot as well. And while that's fine, like that's fun and everything, like I know I just said about the women of the beauty salon in this movie, Lin-Manuel Miranda's subplot is even more unnecessary, to be honest, because like it barely references any themes to like the whole dreams, and like it also just distracts from the overall story. It's like, yeah, it's a fun cameo. Christopher Jackson, that's also a fun cameo. There's also some fun Easter eggs to Hamilton, but other than that, it was just unnecessary. So, In the Heights, it's definitely a very extravagant musical. The acting's great. The songs are mostly good. Even though they can be very long, they're still really good. The themes are important. It makes you feel every emotion possible with this movie. I had a lot of fun. And nitpicks aside, I still will recommend watching this. In theaters or on HBO Max for right now. So, I'm going to go very high on this one. I'll give it 3.5 out of 4 stars. See it. So, what's a musical you want to see on Broadway? Not on Broadway. What's a musical that's on Broadway or was on Broadway that you want to see on the big screen? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat. Stay safe.